Hello everybody, happy Wednesday and happy cold front day. Our cold front now starting to move into the northern hill country. It actually has some rain with it, so we're going to have some hit or miss showers and storms through the day today as the front comes through. It's also going to cool us down. In fact, that process starts already this morning over the hill country. And then behind the front, our afternoons, as we've been talking about, cooler, not like crazy cold, upper 80s, low 90s, mornings going to be the main thing that you notice. So today is what I like to call the transition day, temperature-wise. You can see across the state, some of the cooler weather already makes it into our north and northwest. Austin, I still think makes it up to like 90, 91 today, just ahead of the front, and that will be around midday or so. But across the hill country, we'll go in closer to the central Texas area. Across the hill country, temperatures are likely only going to top out in the 80s today, and even some of these numbers off the blend of models might actually be a little warm. I'll show you some of the high-res data here in a second, but where it takes the front longer to arrive, it will be low to mid-90s for the early to mid-afternoon, and then temperatures drop a little bit behind the front as we get into the second half of the afternoon. Before we go into the models real quick, just kind of the big picture, just to show you our afternoons again. Do they look cooler? Absolutely. We hit 101 yesterday in Austin. It was tied the daily record, and you know it's not unprecedented to have triple-digit heat this time of the year, but we're definitely getting into the time where it gets a little bit more annoying. But so afternoons, low 90s, maybe even another dip into the 80s early next week. We'll look at that here in a second, and then mornings. This is the main thing. Tomorrow morning is going to be nice, but not like the really good stuff yet. And then look at this, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, into next week, morning's going to be fantastic in the 50s and 60s. All right, so our cold front, again, it is here. Here's a look at the surface map. And what I actually want to do is we'll switch over to the radar real quick before we get into some of the model data. And yeah, you can see our little outflow boundary, cold front, broken line of showers and storms, some pretty heavy rain right now over parts of Llano and Burnett County. And, you know, we need the rain. So this is going to continue to push southeast across our area. Is it a guarantee that everyone gets rain? No, it is not. It's a 40 to 50% today, but I'm happy to see that we at least have some of this rain that has made it in. So some of us will get lucky with some rain today. Still very low end potential for strong to severe storms, like a level 1 risk. Okay, so with that, let's go into the models real quick. And this is actually the RITMA, the real-time measured analysis, and this is showing you kind of these are the current actual temperatures right now. So the front's about right there. So Austin ahead of it's in the 80s, and then you can see the 60s back behind it. Let's go into the data though. So here we'll switch over to the latest run of the HRRR, the extended HRRR. And first we'll go through temperatures and then we'll go through some of the rain. So let's look at this frontal timing. Here's 10, 11. Well, I'll tell you what, the frontal timing, according to this model, and this actually may work out because we've got that outflow, which is helping to propagate the boundary through. It is showing 87 at 10, and then by 11 o'clock, it's got the front through, and then temperatures rebound a little bit. Okay, so then it's got us rebounding into the 80s, like upper 80s for the afternoon, with the front down like in this vicinity. You know, so really how cool the afternoon gets behind the front depends on how much cloud cover and rain we have around. But with this new frontal timing and outflow boundary a little bit ahead of things, yeah, maybe 11 a.m. or noon or so. Now let's go into the composite reflectivity. Again, this is just one model run, so this isn't going to be exactly perfect, but you can see where it has picked up on this complex of storms that I just showed you on the radar. And it's got this by 10, 11, 12, has it kind of skipping over Austin, go figure. And then some redevelopment over the coastal plains. Again, guys, is that exactly what the radar is going to look like? No. There's going to be parts of the I-35 corridor that get some rain also, but just, you know, understand it's kind of hit or miss. And then here, this is kind of interesting. It generates a few more showers tonight as the front gets hung up down to our south. And then tomorrow is going to be a mainly dry day. So you can see it takes a minute for the fully comfortable air to get in. Real quick, let's see what this is printing out for the afternoon high tomorrow. So you can see it's got us staying in the 80s, which would be nice. And then this won't get us, it will. So this will get us down to 7 a.m. Friday morning, time's right here. And it's got low to mid 60s and even some 50s across our area. And I'd imagine what you're going to see is some much drier, low humidity air. So dew points in the 50s. So that would be fantastic. Then again, as far as precipitation is concerned, you know, could there be some pockets of heavy rain, especially over the northern hill country where there's some heavy rain now? Yes, but the risk for flooding continues to go down and looks pretty low. Okay, so that's a look at the models. Let's go back into the graphics here, and I do want to show you this slide. Severe weather outlook for today, it's a low-end risk, but it's not zero. A level 1 risk kind of picks us up and goes through the rest of our area through the day today. This is mainly a strong wind threat. The flood risk, if this isn't the most Austin flood risk ever, where they just peel it around Austin, but we have some very low-end potential for some minor localized flooding, but primarily we need rain. These are just the numbers off the Weather Prediction Center, their in-house model, and these have come down some. So let's real quickly talk about the tropics. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because we're talking so much about the cold front today. I don't want this video to be like 5 hours long, but this is kind of a crazy forecast that's unfolding here. Off the East Coast in the Atlantic, we have Gabrielle that's moving away. And then two areas here that could even interact with each other that now both have high odds of development. And you can see the odds of tropical depression winds over the next 10 days from the European ensemble. Some of the models yesterday were even showing what we call a Fujiwara effect, where these kind of swing around each other. But you can see some of these odds get close to the Carolinas and the, again, I don't want to get too into it, but they'll need to watch that over the East Coast and the Carolinas and even up the East Coast into the Northeast. But this is not going to be, no tropical issues for the Gulf or for Texas. Okay, 6 to 10 day temperature probability, September 29th now into October 3rd, favoring what looks like now well above normal temperatures for us. So I think our once we get to the low 90s, we're going to stay there. What's going to happen though is we're getting into the time of the year where it's supposed to be cooling down. So we're kind of staying flat in the climatology is dropping, so we're getting farther above average. 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook is now favoring us with drier than normal conditions. And, yesterday had been 17 days since the last measurable rain in Austin. So, there's a chance that we could get measurable rain today, obviously. But if not, we could go another, extended stretch where that number grows to a much bigger number. Here's the raw data off the European model, and again, there's just nothing too crazy. Highs, upper 80s, low 90s. Morning's going to be nice for a while. But as far as do I see a big one? Do I see a big cold front coming through? Not really. Here's the data off the GFS model, and it's got some rain in another system on Tuesday next week, but obviously that looks like a little bit of an outlier. And then, as we always do, I'll end with my favorite, the National Blend of Models. Highs, low 90s, maybe dipping into the upper 80s. Morning's going to be the real highlight. So we'll get back to those kind of low humidity, crisp, at least fall feeling mornings. So it'll feel like fall for a couple hours in the morning, and then the afternoons will heat up. So that's the deal today. Some hit or miss showers and storms. Front is coming through, so everything's still on track where mornings are going to get nicer and our afternoons are going to drop a little bit. And then today, some of us will get some rain. All right, that will do it. I appreciate you guys tuning in for this extended update on the forecast. I'll see you guys back here tomorrow with another update.